Hello! Welcome to PlanetOldHammer. What's Oldhammer, you say? Well, Oldhammer is everything from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000. Although, there are times, if it's in the spirit, we could look at new stuff too. Exciting. Well, what's this episode about then? Well, it's coming up to Orktober, or as us in the miniature painting biz like to call it, Orktober. This month is dedicated to all things splendid and orky and green, a little bit like me, Ray. I'm planning on doing something myself for October. This year, I'm going to be looking at some slasher gargants for Epic 40,000, or as us old kids like to call it, Space Marine. Now, Space Marine was a splendid, lovely little game from the late 80s, early 90s. The first edition was very much all about the Horus Heresy, but later editions centered more on the 40,000 universe. Now, this particular slasher gargant that I'm going to do is a homage to one of the first ever battle reports in White Dwarf. This is the slasher gargant that was used in that first ever battle report. I intend to recreate this as closely as I can, paint scheme the works. So, what do we do first? Well, first of all, we have to go and get ourselves a slasher gargant. So, I've managed to find myself a nice little gargant off the eBays. Here it is. As you can see, it's not been loved. Somebody doesn't know how to thin paints, so we're gonna have to get all this off. So I'm gonna get my little human to help me out. Human! We need some stuff. So, first of all, we need some gloves. There they are, well done, human. Next thing, well, we could do with a nice tub. Something for sandwiches, only once you've used it, do not put sandwiches in this again. Next, an old toothbrush. Make sure it's old. Use your dad's if not. And then, you need the Dettol. Yes, this stuff for cleaning. That's what you use to get your paint off. Then, you need some kitchen roll. What are you doing with that kitchen roll, human? Put it there, come on. Just can't get the help, blimey. And finally, you need one of these thingy-mo-jiggy whatsits. I use this for sculpting, but you can also use a toothpick if you haven't got one of these. Okay, now we're gonna put all the lovely bits from our gargant inside the tub. Now, make sure that none of these bits sit on top of each other. Make sure it's all flat to the bottom. The reason you do this is when you put the Dettol in, you don't want to use it all, do you? You just want to have a thin covering that just covers your miniature. Right. Next thing we do, of course, is the Dettol. Pour it on nice and carefully. Like I said before, not too much. You just want to cover your miniature. Everything's flat on the bottom, little bit more, lovely dubblies. And now let's have a look, let's show you. You see, it's not that deep. It's just covering your miniature. Okay, and now, lid on. Come on, human. There we go. Lid on. And now you leave it for 24 hours. Yes, that's right. Now, of course, if it's plastic miniatures, leave it for about 12. But if it's metal, 24's a good bet. So, as you can see, I've laid out my kitchen roll. Let's get the miniature, and my human will now scrub the miniature using the toothbrush. Now, we only use Dettol. Don't be putting the toothbrush in water. That will do awful nasty things to the paint. Make it very goopy, very sticky. It'll ruin things for you. So you keep it just in the Dettol, and you use quick, fast strokes. Keep dipping it in the Dettol. Now, one of the things you'll note sometimes is you might get a little bit of foam. If that happens, dip the whole miniature again into the Dettol, and then get back to scrubbing. Now, sometimes you get very hard to get pieces of gunky paint, and the toothbrush won't be quite what you need to get them out. And this is where you either use the metal tool, or you can use a toothpick. Now here I am. Metal tool, look. Get right into the gaps, right into the crevices and creases, and get all that gunk out. You can also get rid of all the glue this way, if someone's used quite excessive amounts, which someone has here obviously. So be very, very careful. So take your time. Each piece should take you between 5 to 8 minutes to fully get all the paint off. So it's not a fast job, this. It's very therapeutic, though. And Mrs. Goblin does love the smell of the Dettol afterwards, so that's always quite good, too. Right then, so there you go. We've stripped the Mini. It's taken around about 25 to 30 minutes to get all this sorted. You can see all the paint's gone, all the details back. So we're ready. Once it's dried, we'll give it a little undercoat, and off we go. That's episode 1 of this little project done. That was how to strip a miniature using Dettol. I hope that was useful. It's a very simple thing, but I do get asked rather a lot. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please click like and subscribe so you don't miss any future updates. I'll be posting an update to this project as often as I can, hopefully throughout the whole of Orktober, and you can see the progress of my lovely little garland. So until then, Ugly Goblin out.